looking at the model of the Titanic. I can see
You
her.
want me to let you hold it? I'll get it. Okay.
I got her.
Okay.
I can get her.
Okay, come back here. But you can't, you have to hold her up. You can't. I need your head.
I can't hold her down.
And this is going to need to be filled also.
Look at all the windows.
Here, can you scoot over this way just a bit?
And the
There you go. Turn your butt like that. That's perfect.
And the idea that the people made for the Titanic.
How you feeling? You've already had your medicine this morning.
The roller 3D.
The what?
The roller 3D.
Okay, but I'm talking to you about you. Okay, listen to me. How are you feeling? Eh?
The same when you gave me the
Medicine? You're not feeling anything different?
no.
I gave her medicine probably 45 minutes to an hour ago. We were standing in the kitchen and she started leaning on the counter, and then I noticed how she gripped the counter and kind of leaned forward, and she was gone. I checked her whole body, nothing else was moving, nothing, not her eyes. It was like, and it was probably, I'd say 6 to 8 seconds. And when she took a few seconds to get it together after that, and when she, excuse yourself,
Excuse me.
please. When she was, you know, feeling a little better, I looked and you could see she was there in her eyes. And I said, do you know that you had a seizure? And the first things out of her mouth was, maybe I should stay home, because she was, and I looked at her little hands and they were still hanging on to the counter, just hanging on, holding her weight. So it's been an hour and she's had her recovery meds. So tell me about your Titanic.
Where were we?
I don't know, you were going to talk about the Titanic.
But we do know that people believe that the ship was designed to be unsinkable. What happened? It sank. And we do know about the iceberg that caused it to sink, that caused her to sink. From the time the Titanic was designed, she was almost doomed. On the ship, there were first, second, and third class cabins.
Here, it's a little out. There you go, forward. There you go, so I can.
And I'm assuming this is where the water started to seep in. Somewhere around here.
Point to show so that the camera can see where it was. I can see it fine. You have to point it to the camera. Yeah, point on the other side, about there.
Where the water seeped in after she struck the iceberg. It
what? Did you get confused?
It struck a section of the Titanic's rivets. And rooms by watertight watertight compartments flooded. And the water started to seep in.
Scoot up a little more. Then over that way a little bit. There. Thanks, babe. Okay, so water started to seep in.
Yes. And the captain ordered that everyone was his ship, that Captain Smith ordered that everyone was to evacuate.
And did they?
Some of the men, women, and children didn't survive the sinking. Some of them went down with the ship. A couple of them lived to tell the story. Before she sank, the lights went out, and then it broke into and sank to the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean.
In the Atlantic?
That's where the Titanic was heading. That's where she was heading toward New York City.
From where?
Southampton, England. That's where she was created.
Built?
That's where she was built.
Was she the only one?
She has sister ships.
Oh yeah? Tell me about that.
The Olympic and the Britannic.
Right there?
3 sister ships. And she was one of them. The SS Nomadic was the last remaining of the White Star Line's ships after the disaster of the Titanic. The Titanic took a lot of lives along with her as she sank. Some of the passengers froze to death from hyperthermia. But one of her sister ships rescued the remaining of the
Tuck your chin and let me massage the back. I didn't mean to interrupt you. One of her sister ships. What?
Rescued the remaining of the Titanic's passengers. Because most of them died went down with the ship.
Tell me more.
It took
I love listening to you.
It took 3 years to build this ship. This fascinating ship. 3 years. Look at all the amazing designs.
Mm-hmm.
And they painted her.
Sorry.
These 3 smokestacks were real, but this one was not. But this was a fake smokestack.
Why would they put a fake smokestack on that Titanic?
I don't know. It didn't.
It really didn't do anything?
No. These 3 did.
Maybe they wanted it to look even.
Yeah. The designer, Thomas Andrews, came up with the idea for building the construction of the Titanic.
You know, they usually say that 3 to 5, an odd number, is more relaxing and soothing to the mind.
I read in my Titanic book that it said that it took 3 years to build her. 3 years to build her. Until she sank.
Was that all 3 of them or just the one?
Her sister ships were designed too.
But I mean, in that 3 years, Were they building them all or just the one?
Yep.
I need you to look up there. Okay, and don't block your eyes with it. Okay. Sorry.
And we know as far as the, ships had to sea trials. And she was in her fitting out stage before she was, and then on the slipway before she was launched. And after she was launched, she picked up some of the passengers. From
You have to turn, baby girl.
Queenstown, Ireland, and some of the, I forgot what the other parts of England were called.
So they actually went to Ireland to pick up passengers?
That's where she first stopped.
That was her first stop? I didn't know that she ever even made a stop. I thought she was just coming to LA or to New York.
After she picked up the two more passengers, and she headed off to some of the passengers got off the ship.
Yeah.
Because they knew that a disaster was about to strike.
Very interesting.
And some of the people didn't get on the ship because of the slow-moving train.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about luck. Talk about trying to get on the Titanic. And look at all the lifeboats. They didn't make enough. They didn't have.
Show them the lifeboats.
They didn't have enough.
You have to point on this side.
They didn't.
Where they are. Or yeah.
They didn't have enough lifeboats. That's 16 lifeboats. That's not enough for all the passengers. The people that designed the Titanic said that the deck would be too cluttered if they made too many lifeboats.
And that's why there wasn't enough and the people had to die?
Yep, and even the captain went down along with the ship.
Well, I think that's what captains do.
Captain Edward John Smith ordered that the passengers were to evacuate. And after he got the message from the lookouts, and they shouted,
Stay right there for a
and they
minute.
said, "Iceberg, right ahead!" And they, and
Keep telling your story, I can hear you.
and then someone, I forgot his name, said, "Hard as starboard." And the Titanic sent the emergency signal, SOS. And she was sinking, saying, "Help, we're sinking." And after the Titanic picked up some of the passengers, she set it off to New York City. They should not have been in the icy area. The Titanic should not have been in the icy area, and the disaster wouldn't have happened. And she would have still been sailing today. People even had a memorial service for her. And the mystery and tragedy of the Titanic continues to captivate us. There's still loads of things about the Titanic, and we may never know. I did read some of the secrets of the Titanic, the doomed ship that sank in 1912. The lights went out. Some of the passengers didn't survive. Ship's orders that the captain went down with the ship. Go down with the ship. Some cameras rediscovered things that represented the Titanic on the ocean floor. Some of the pictures representing the Titanic were actually taken on the Olympic. She survived. People say that she survived amongst the 3 sister ships. And then the Titanic broke into and sank quickly to the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean, and she laid in ruins on the ocean floor. Talk about a sinking death. Talk about death. Some of the cameras rediscovered some artifacts, things about in the Titanic, and put it as an artifact in a museum. And people from the world can learn about everything they want to know about the Titanic. The sister ship that rescued the remaining of the Titanic's passengers made it to New York City, where the Titanic would have arrived. But she didn't. But she didn't make it to New York City. That's pretty much all I remember about the Titanic. Pretty much.
Well, I sure appreciate you sharing that.
What I can remember of the Titanic.
You'll probably remember other things later, but thank you so much. And thank you all for watching. Say bye.
Thank you all for watching.
Say bye, friends.
Bye, friends. If you like this video, give our channel a thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe to the channel. Leave us in the comment what else what you guys want me to talk about.